How do 16 family members operate one single entity?
Every one of us has a very defined role. One good thing is no one comes or interferes within each other's boundary. My belief is you will see a lot of 100-story buildings coming. And then my uncle said, okay, done, I will buy it at this price. And I must tell you, he had not seen the land. And it was just been described to him. And it was by the sheer size that, he said it is 100 acres. He said, I will buy the land. एटलीस्ट हमारा बिलीव है वो डेवलपर ही क्या जो बिना इशू के प्रॉब्लम के लैंड ना ले.
You've seen the movie Hum Saath Saath Hain. If that movie was to be adopted in the real estate world, the company I'll be speaking to would be the most appropriate fit. It's a company called as Ajmera Realty that is amongst the biggest landowners of Mumbai and has executed multiple township projects. To talk to us about the company is Dhaval Ajmera. Hi Dhaval, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Vishal. I think it was a very great introduction about a family, but with family also comes professional, and that's how we are listed.
So before we get into what's happening in the current, let's just go back to the past for you. Why did you as a young man enter the construction business?
So Vishal, it's a very interesting story. We've been in this family business since a very long time. Or more than 5 decades, 3 generations working together. So when I entered business, we were in 2 lines of business. One was like our main lines. We also had something other. So like we were into real estate and we were into steel. That these were the 2 main businesses which we were also into cement, textiles and all, but primarily these 2. And I had the option that point in time to select which one I really want to go on and why would I want to do. So we had a very massive steel plant in Pune, and real estate was of course an ongoing business in Bombay and other places. So when I really looked up, when I was in college, I used to go to Pune to a factory to understand what factory is, to be there for 2-3 months during my vacation to understand what it was. And when I was in college over here, after my college hours, I used to go to our sites to understand how does real estate work, or how does construction business happen. And to me, my interest inclined towards real estate because I believed, and I always thought in Mumbai per se, primarily. There are always 2 interesting topics. One is Bollywood and one is real estate. And it was, wherever you go, whatever you do, somebody will ask about how the real estate is. Or isne itne ka flat liya, or ye itne ka ye sauda hua. Everyone had a great incline. Maybe a IT guy, maybe a somebody who's doing a job, anyone. So, and probably I also had a great incline. My incline was towards real estate, and I love the site. So when I really started going from my college, I used to actually bunk few classes and go to site because that was my interest, and I developed that more and more, and then that's when I selected real estate and moved towards that line.
Was that phase when you entered the business? Construction even today has a sort of a negative perception. Just when you gave this opinion to your friends in college that I'm getting into the construction space, what was their reaction?
Oh well, probably 25 years ago, to an extent, real estate was looked at as mafia ka dhanda hai, and the real estate and mafias go hand in hand, which was not the case, but it was the other way around because there were also, that point in time there were a lot of threats coming and everything was happening, but it was, I thought it was a very bold line, and it was something where, you bring out a person in you, what you are, how strong you can be and what you can do. So, I thought about it, and people really thought, are you going to be real estate as another mafia? I said, no, that's not real estate is. And real estate is something which you bring lives and bring homes. So, if you look at that way, and then, I was very clear, what direction I want to go. But as you said, that was a perception always coming.
So right now, when all those old friends of yours, if you're in touch with them, has their perception of real estate changed, or is pretty much the same?
No, definitely. I think now, if I have to, and I'm really proud today with the kind of development, it's happening in India. I personally see, people actually change their perception towards real estate. They don't look at the same eye. They feel a lot of players now and I would say 80% or 70%, my guess would be, are moving towards kind of a corporate line, moving very very straight finish to the business. So people look real estate in a very different eye to what it was earlier. They can trust.
The first word that comes to any resident of Mumbai's mind when I say Ajmera is Vadala. What's the story there? Why did you all first acquire land in Vadala, I think 30 years back? What is that made you acquire it? How was the process like and the journey thereafter?
It's a very, very interesting story. My our late chairman, my uncle Chotu Bhai Ajmera, he was a visionary, I would say, and he had this passion for real estate when he actually came in from a town where he brought in all his brothers when he successfully started taking projects. So when he actually was dealing on one or two projects here, that's when Parsis were the landlords at that point in time. And he came across one of the, maybe in one of the, I don't know where, but somewhere in town, that's where, business used to happen. And he came across one of the Parsis known as Nariyalwala over there. And in some conversations they were discussing, and he just brought in that I have a land over here of 100 acres in Vadala, and I would like to, basically, and then he asked, do you want to sell it? And he said, where is it? And, he said it's in Vadala and all of that. And then my uncle said, okay, done. I will buy it at this price. And I must tell you, he had not seen the land. And it was just been described to him. And it was by the sheer size that, he said it is 100 acres. He said, I will buy the land. And they agreed to some terms, and that's how it went. And then in the evening when he went home, he told his brothers that, look, I have finalized one land. I don't know where it is. Tomorrow, please go and have a look whether that land actually exists or not. Okay, that is all you need to see. Baki, that location, how it is, what it is, we will see, because the size is great and it will fetch its own value. So that was his vision at that point. And this I'm talking more than 40 years plus. So
basically in the first meeting, he closed the 100-acre land.
He closed the 100-acre land, and our agreement with the landlord was, unlike what it is today, it was a 5-pager agreement. And so that was the kind of trust or understanding, I would say, which was then and what we see today. But it was done, closed and finished probably 40 years ago.
So basically today's 100-acre deals typically take 1 year, 2 years, 3 years to get completed. That took place in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Which was the first building you guys built? Was it tough to sell?
So when we actually started developing this land sometime in 1996 or 95 actually, and our first building at that point in time was Silveraj. Okay, it was a 7-story building, and it was entire land was barren, and there was one building which was coming up, but the market was so buoyant at that point in time. Up मट्टी भी बेचो वो सोना लगता था वैसा टाइप, because 96 was that aura. And come 97 the real estate market tanked, and then we saw that even though we sold at that point in time, obviously people started cancelling, whoever had booked were not paying, and it was a very tough time, next 2-3 years. So then, we as a family, and obviously my uncle and father and everyone, they decided at that point in time that we need to really bring life over here so that, this can actually grow as a destination and as a town. Because it was evolved as a township, and we wanted to evolve it as a township. And then one building might not help. We wanted to bring how we can attract people over here. And we discussed, and our late chairman and one of the partners of Ad Labs were friends, and they were looking for a land to bring in some very interesting project, and we jumped into the opportunity, and then we struck a deal. They wanted to bring in the largest dome theater in the world, and they wanted to make as a tourist attraction or a cinematic attraction for India. And no interesting place than what we could offer, a 3-acre parcel to them. and they took this up, and we also signed. So that's when people started coming. So that's how IMAX actually developed in our property, and then
So basically, IMAX was one of the triggers for Ajmera at Vadala to get some degree of traction.
correct. So that was one, and then slowly we knew this area was picking up as a destination, and because of its connectivity, what we see today was probably envisaged at that point in time, and we saw a lot of things moving there, and then IMAX came in, and then the freeway came in, and then the monorails came in, and everything really picked up, and then that's what it becomes as a favorite destination.
Okay, let's just go back to Silver Arch. What was the price you sold your first apartment there at?
Well, we started at 1818. So 1,818 rupees was our start price.
Why this sort of a number 1818?
Well,
it's not 1800, it's not 1900, not 2000. Why 1818?
So our family believes in a lot in the number 9. So we thought we should have some kind of, I'm presuming because I was not involved in that, but 1,800 was the price, and we wanted to make it as an attractive number, and it was really because in and around Chembur, even at that point in time, was 3,000-4,000 rupees rate, right? And to give something at 1818 was a shocker for a lot of people at that point in time, and that brought in a lot of traction. And my uncle was very clear, and that it's okay if we make a loss, but let's give life here, and then life will attract more life, and then we have a huge land bank anyways which we can cover the losses, but let us make some life. So we our cost of construction and I believe the project was probably at cost or probably a little lesser than that, loss making, but we finished that project, and then that's when this history of Vadala started.
So basically, much like many township projects, the first few buildings go at a loss.
Correct.
And then once
Absolutely.
the ecosystem comes in.
Yeah.
Okay. We spoke about Vadala. There have been other large township projects you've done. One of the under-mentioned land parcels where development has happened is at Mira Road. What's been the background there?
One of Shantinagar, that project, we were not the landowners at that point in time, and it belonged to one of our partners who's also a part of it, Mr. Bharat Shah, the diamond trader, and there was another developer with him. They had bought this land and they were developing it, and then they wanted to have that kind of our friendship, and they brought in the land to us, and it was a 365-acre land. And when we really started in the year 1980-85, Mira Road was something which probably nobody even thought of going, and we had this 365 acres of land to develop, and what do we do with it? And then the goal with the family was very clear, that bring in life, and there was nothing at Mira Road at that point in time. There was only one thing in terms of infrastructure, was a train station. And I remember my father saying that, only 2 trains during the day would go to Mira Road, and you would find nobody after probably Borivali station on the train to go to Mira Road. Probably 1 or 2 people in the entire train going there. So that was the kind of thing. We wanted to bring in that kind of infrastructure over there. So we laid water, because water is the most essential thing, and there was no water supply over there except bore wells. So when you are having 365 acres, 15,000 apartments in the entire complex, you need water. Bore wells are not sufficient. So, we developed at that point, we brought in water pipeline from 19 kilometers from the site where we were. We laid the entire pipeline in the road at our cost and brought the entire infrastructure over there. And not only that, and that's when we really started developing it, and we were a complete backward integration factory over there.
How did you sell over there? You said Mira Road had only 1 station, 2 trains. So, वहाँ पे कौन सा कस्टमर आ रहा था खरीदने के लिए?
वो आज भी है. आप देखिए today, the most somebody who's really well off to do and who's like a rich guy will buy probably in South Bombay or Bandra. Someone who has a little bit of, now obviously not too much, but someone with a budget will probably move little back, going towards the Mulund or Borivali, Kandivali, because the prices are like that. Someone has a little less budget, or who's salaried class, will go to Mira Road, will go to Palghar, now. So similarly, at that point in time, somebody who could not really afford to buy apartments in Bombay was something who could come and buy in Mira Road, because the lifeline of Bombay's history has always been straight, and that is why you see why is the central and the western line so popular, is because if there is a train station, there will be life, or life will be built. So hence, Mira Road is what Mira Road is, because there were trains going over there. People knew that I can commute from Mira Road to VTC in 1 hour's time, or whatever. Otherwise, it'll take me 2-3 hours, because there was no public transport at that point in time. So that if there is a train, there is a life. So that is where people got that confidence that कुछ नहीं है तो मैं ट्रेन से तो commute कर पाऊंगा.
So धवल, उस टाइम का प्राइसिंग क्या था मीरा रोड के लिए?
I can't say for sure, but I know for sure it was below 100 rupees a square feet. So because we've and my guess is because during 80s and all, 78, 80s, at Borivali we were at 75-90 rupees. So I'm sure Mira Road is a station behind Borivali, so it should be under 100.
How do developers like you view economic conditions going down? The old-fashioned way of developers handling economic downturns is pretty clear. They either run away, they stop the project. How do players like you view economic downturns?
So we've always viewed economic downturns as an opportunity, and I can prove you in many examples with that. Like to give you number one, as recent as COVID, and if we go reverse, like COVID, Lehman Brothers, ILFS crisis. If you say any of these crises like COVID, the market tanked, and obviously COVID is something where everything tanked. But real estate probably was the only industry, I would say, which really picked up during COVID. So even during Lehman Brothers crisis, the whole world had tanked, and everyone was like a standstill position. But in India, real estate was the first industry to pick up, and it actually moved the entire cycle. So our take is very clear. In India, roti kapda makan is the most important thing, and real estate, I per se, for me and to every Indian, I would say, is a very emotional value. Any Indian will have one bit of real estate, be it land, be it a residential, a commercial, a shop, whatever. Some real estate he will always possess if he has to buy any asset. So sona lega or ek real estate, kuch na kuch karke he will buy. So being that emotional value, they will, the demand, and with the kind of population what we have, demand, I don't think it's a dearth of demand in India. And I don't think we can ever see, per se, recession unless there is, everything goes for a downturn. But there will be cycles going up and down, but demand for real estate will continue. So we were very clear it will still stay. So our point at that, in 96, 97, when the market really tanked, we wanted to continue construction. We wanted to move in. So we brought in the first, just to give an example, for a project at Lokhandwala in Shastri Nagar. We were making towers, and at that point in time, 28, 29 story towers were like really tall. And but we obviously, people who had booked were not paying money. New bookings were not happening. So what we do is we approach banks. Banks were very reluctant to pay or give loan to developers for obvious reasons. So we probably at that point in time came up with a mechanism in the year 98, which was, it's not confirmed, but I still believe that it was one of the first in real estate at that point in time, that we brought in a system of escrow mechanism. And we told HDFC that you give us a loan of 5 crores. We want to make these towers, and you put in the money in the account, you pay to the contractors, all the money which comes from the sales will be brought into this account only. So you have a complete management of the accounts. We will provide you with audited statements every month, and you can put in your person whatever you want. But our whole idea is that we don't want to take out money from this. We want to continue development, because every person, and like it is even proven that if it is ready project, when things are moving, the confidence is very different than what it is, at the times when market is down. If for an under construction or, a lower level, or if it is just at plinth or, ground level or something like that. So we continued with the construction, and, we really didn't bother about sales because our money was flowing from the bank. And that really helped the cycle move, and people saw. And that's where, if you go to our project in Shastri Nagar, those 5-7 towers of 28-30 stories, what you see was due to that escrow mechanism which we really started. So that was an opportunity. And
so Dhaval, has there been any project of yours? You've been here for 50 years, not you, your company. You look a lot younger than that, obviously. Where the company has had to cut rates because of the very nature of real estate. It's a business of cycles. Prices go down, up and down everywhere. In real estate, have you faced that?
Yeah, many times. But I would give you a recent example. It's not that recent, but when we started our project, in one of our projects in Bangalore, Ajmera Infinity, we launched that project in the year 2007, and we had a great run in terms of sales. We started at 2100, we went up till 2700, and we sold around 150, 200 plus apartments. And then 2008 Lehman Brothers crisis happened, and market tanked. And Bangalore primarily is a IT driven market, which is more focused economics or whatever there. It was based on the US economy and the world economy, and there were layoffs, people were not ready, and it had a big impact on real estate, and people were not ready to buy. We had a like a lull period of sales for a longish time. So what we decided at that point is that we should cut the price and we should bring it to 2250. Obviously, there was a big hue and cry amongst internally because we had sold at a higher price to 200 odd customers. What will happen? And then we announced and we launched at 2250 because we wanted to bring the cycle back, right? And there was a hue and cry amongst our customers who had bought in at a higher, because they felt that the investments are gone. They invested in brand Ajmera, they invested in the trust which we made and to believe them, and this was clearly a distrust or a mismatch. So we were very clear, and we told, that was our plan, and we told them, okay, fine, we understand that we've cut down the price because of the world economic situation. But we also assure you one thing, that by the time our project is ready, we are very clear and we are very sure that your investments will not go down. And if at the time of our handing over possession, which we have promised you, if our prices, which let's say I've sold you at 2700 rupees a square feet, if at the time of possession, if the price is below 2700, we will pay you the money back. We will give your losses back. We will not help you have any losses. And that was, I said, you can't expect an interest because the market is down, but we are confident that your capital will not be depreciated, and we are ready to underwrite, or we are ready to give you that assurance. And that assurance really helped. So it did stop spreading the negative word for Ajmera's or the project, and people actually started marketing that project, because once you buy, there's a great word of mouth, right? When we didn't want to, and as a company, our intent was not to make losses to our customers, but we wanted the cycle to run, because eventuality, if the sales don't happen, the project will somewhere or the other suffer, and we didn't want them, because we wanted to finish on a particular time as a promise given. So we did that, and that really turned the cycle. And we were, that we actually had to sell 1,000 apartments in that project, 1,100 actually, and we really, whatever was envisaged, we sold. And by the end of it, when we gave possession, that 2,700 was 4,500. So nobody came back to us.
Do you think customers have to start recognizing that real estate is not a one-way street? It's like any other industry. Prices go up, prices go down. We're okay with stocks of Reliance, Adani Enterprises going up and down. Why shouldn't real estate go up and down? Why should we create this perception for a home buyer to almost demand that if I buy a house, price have to remain the same or only go up?
So, Vishal, historically, if you go to see, and as I said, for India, real estate is a very emotional decision, and every Indian will have some or the other real estate. And, with the kind of population what we have, it is, very clear that even today, every developer of the country, works 24/7 for, I don't know, next 5, 7, 10 years. Still, we will not be able to match the demand, because the demand is more than probably whatever we can supply. Obviously, it at a price and everything. But so historically, over the last, I might say even 100 years, 99% of the chance prices have never dropped in real estate. Okay, if you or it is not depreciated. There may be a few cases, I wouldn't say no, but most of it, their capital has remained intact. Unlike, so, you're right. It's a perceived notion that people are like you and me are ready to accept the fact that, आज मेरा stock में loss हो गया, वो चलता है because it is market driven. But real estate में तो कभी loss नहीं हो सकता है. But that's not the case. Real estate is a cyclical market. There may be great run, there may be good demand, but it's not always that prices will go up, or prices may remain consistent, prices may fall a bit. But one good thing at least in Indian real estate I've seen is not like it dramatically fall down. Yes, there may be a few dips here and there, but it has always remained consistent of slowly going up. So that is where, has been a perception, at least in Indian mindset, that real estate cannot make loss. So which is a good and a bad way, both, at least for everyone, that they feel that मैंने आज लिया है तो वो intact, the capital will be intact, and which has been the case 99%. And bad is, as you rightly said, that people are not ready to accept that real estate can go down.
Do you think we're right now at that stage of maturity in the real estate ecosystem to let customers know that you're buying it, this is a house, don't look at it as price, look at it as value, because in one way I can look at it, 10, 12 years back, the market was to a large extent investment driven. So you had to keep the buyer fed on the belief that rates will go up and there's no scope for a price reduction. Now, do you think we are at that stage where the maturity is there, it's end user driven, a buyer doesn't really care or shouldn't really care if prices go down because he's got it for staying?
So, you see today, real estate in India, and primarily the residential real estate, okay, the rental yields or the yield on the investment is not above 2%, and Bombay is even lower, but other places probably 2.5%. But why do people still go ahead and buy it? The only reason is because they, as you rightly said, that real estate or residential, whatever asset they are buying, is for their own use. People don't care whether it is going up or down. It is their own house which they are living in, which is giving them security of place. And and over the historical time, we have seen that at least capital appreciating, and if it is put on rental, they have a steady income coming in. So they primarily look at, so that is why people are okay with a 1.5% or a 2% yield on their investment, because they know their capital is safe. Number one. Number two, some or the other appreciation will come, which historically has been proven all this while.
Mumbai's Slum Redevelopment Policy, although perhaps well-intentioned, it's slightly unfair then to home buyers, because you're in a way rewarding illegal encroachment, first by regularizing, then initial subsidy, then free homes. The size of the free homes have been risen from 225, 269 square feet, 300 square feet. Do you think it's a bit harsh on the home buyer?
Well, it is. I would not deny that it is, but this is also a harsh reality that there are slums. So either we live with the slums or we don't live with it. So I mean, at least politically driven. It is a lot of it is politically driven because if we don't really take care of that, I think probably 30-40% of the or more than that population will be wiped out from Mumbai. So where would they go? So my guess is that yes and no, both. That yes, it is not a right justice to the people who are paying money for their hard-earned money which they are paying to buy an apartment. But if we have to look at an overall comprehensive thing, somewhere it has to be a mix and gel of both.
Okay. Ajmera has done the big townships. There's redevelopment. Which part of the redevelopment puzzle are you most in sync with? Some people have a preference for SRA, some for society redevelopment. Do you make a distinction in your mind, or for you it's pretty much the same? Every sort of redevelopment is the same?
So, Vishal, for us as Ajmeras, thankfully, we are 3 generations in business. We have a lot of hands with us. So we look at every business opportunity which is our way. Maybe it's slum, maybe it redevelopment, maybe an existing tie-up with a developer, or maybe a land. So there are 4 avenues to any construction or real estate project, and we are honestly open to also. We do slums also, we do redevelopments also, we do JVs also, and we do land development also. So
सबसे मुश्किल कौन सा है?
Well,
common joke in Mumbai real estate for SRA is that the builder who starts the project does not finish it. He does not end with the project. It's that complex. Has that been your experience also?
Thankfully not till now. What we know, because we've recently started slum redevelopment, and we've not faced that kind of an issue so far. And as I said, yes, there may be a phenomenon. You're right that जो developer चालू करता है वो खत्म नहीं होता है. But I have seen, and as I believe that people have evolved. They also want solutions rather than issues coming their way. Right from a slum dweller to a probably whoever can be, right? Everyone wants a solution to their houses if they are getting. And I think now the pace of transaction in slum development, redevelopment my guess is going to be faster than what it was earlier.
Okay. Different types of projects in your angle. 5 years from now, how different an entity will Ajmera be from what it is today?
Well, we post-COVID, right? We have started this journey, and as I told you earlier, we always look any downfall as an opportunity, and real estate is proven, and we have taken this opportunity, and we are very open that from now on we want to grow 5 times to what we are today, minimum, and we will have projects probably 5 times than what we have today. We will construct, we will sell everything 5x from what we are today.
From how much time?
Over the next 5 to 7 years time.
So you'll probably be doing 5x the work in the next 5 to 7 years.
Yes. So let's say today, if I have to look, I have last year, just to give an example, that we sold 4 lakh square feet. Our endeavor is next 5 years time we should be selling 20 lakh square feet. So that's the growth what we are looking at, and we went into drawing board, opened the large whatever land parcels we have, what we can develop, what we can close the issues if there are, how do we bring it on the drawing board, how do we bring it on to the public at large to sell, and what new opportunities we should get to grow at this pace. So that's how we are really working today.
Since you mentioned land parcels, the key question for anyone looking at you, where all do you have your land parcels? आपने वडाला के, you spoke on वडाला, you spoke on Mira Road, और कहाँ पे है?
So our biggest land parcel, or I would say one of our marquee thing is Wadala, and it still has a huge potential coming in from there. We have also a largest land parcel in Kanjurmarg, We also have projects.
Since you said Kanjurmarg, I'll just interrupt you. What's exactly the status on that? 3 years back, it was under some degree of public eye because of the land being a potential contender for the Mumbai Metro or something around that.
Yeah, it wasn't that, but it was a land next to us.
Okay.
But primarily people just perceived that this is the metro land, but that was not. Well, Kanjurmarg, it's very much within our ambit, and we will bring it because our belief is that Mumbai is a land scarce city now, and going forward, it's still going to get lower and lower, right? So when we have a largest land parcel, which we have, we want to bring in the best for that city or that area as a township or whatever we want to say. We want to bring in the best, and we would like to bring that out for as a public or to sell or to launch at the right time when we have while we obviously have things in order, but we want to completely make the things in order and then launch that project or bring that to the market.
वो फिर कब तक हो जाएगा?
So my guess is, I can do it even now. It's not that I can't start a project tomorrow over there, but we will wait for the right time, and my guess is another year or two. So, but we have, leaving aside Kanjurmarg, we have enough and more in our kitty to, continue or, have at least going with us for the next 7-8 years time.
So just sticking with Kanjurmarg for one point here, you're saying that the issue, the challenge is mainly internal. You can launch today.
Yes.
But there's no issue with the land per se. No challenge.
No challenge at all.
It belongs to Ajmera Realty without any complication.
Absolutely.
Okay. The other land parcels, kahan pe?
So we have, as I said, Wadala we have some few in central Mumbai. Ghatkopar we have few land parcels. Juhu we are developing right now one. And we have a few in Bangalore, we have a few in Pune, Ahmedabad we have one or two. So we have land parcels, but our whole strength, I would say, as Ajmeras is to probably buy lands which have some of the other issues and which are solvable. And at least हमारा belief है वो developer ही क्या जो बिना issue के problem के land ना ले, because every land has a problem, and every developer becomes a successful developer because he's resolved that issue, so
this is contrary to what most corporate developers say कि मेरे को वही project दिखा, land दिखा जिसमें कुछ issue नहीं है. You have the opposite strategy.
So we and I would say that's at least and that's where you make money. I mean, otherwise it's an FMCG company which is making an X percentage of margin, and you will continue to do it, right? But we believe that you can add value because land is scarce, and you should add value to what you have. And then every issue, there will be some issues coming in. If you try to resolve that issue and you can make that 1x to 5x or 7x, that's where your actual forte or business is.
That's on the land acquisition strategy. You're one of the companies that's been even listed on the exchange. What is it that makes a mid-level developer or a upper mid-level developer get listed on the exchange? What is the biggest benefit?
So when you list your company, you have to come up with a very clear mindset that there has always been I would say a mindset of a developer that I should not be completely revealing what I have. And I will reveal at the time when I am ready with all my approvals, with all my things, and then I will probably either launch it or probably people at large should know. Otherwise, there might be some issues, pertaining coming or whatever, and projects getting delayed. So if that mindset, you should be very clear when you are listed. You need to have all your, you have to lay all your eggs, and you should know that this is what I have. And this is how I will move. Transparency, openness is the most important thing in a listed entity, is what my belief is. And if you are ready to do it, I think that's that you can list. B, Also, when you are ready to partner with public at large, when you are ready to partner with people whom you are okay to answer, because not many developers are comfortable being answerable, and they are right in their own way, they are wrong in their own way, but that's the belief people have. So if you are ready to take that plunge, be more transparent, be more open, be answerable.
What's been the toughest phase for you as a listed company? आपने कहा कि डेवलपर माइंडसेट कॉमन है कि आंसरेबिलिटी का वो ट्रेड कॉमन नहीं है. For you, has it been tough at any point dealing with investors?
So sometimes you get into a point where you feel that I'm actually not liable to answer to these questions. When we have this some analyst meet or earnings call, or some investor meets or whatever, but then it's where you have to answer. There is no you can't say, oh sorry, I can't answer you, you're not, it's okay if you want to continue, but they are a shareholder, some part of it, they are the owner. So you need to, sometimes you feel, but I think majority of the times that's when I personally put it up in my own mind that they are answerable and we should do it, and then you answer it to whatever best possible way you can probably explain to them.
What's been the toughest question you've been asked by an analyst that made you think कि बस मुझे लिस्ट होना ही नहीं चाहिए था?
So the toughest question I would say, they've really asked me is that, when you have such a great land parcel, you have great growth story, you have amazing, record of construction, and, your results are consistently being good, then why is why is it not being reflected in your share price? I said, that is something which I can't answer, and it's the public at large, or the market which has to answer. But yeah, I mean, they're right in a way. You need to have the right kind of valuation. That's why you are there at a stock exchange, to get the right value. And sometimes when you don't get that value, and that's where people really ask, why is it not? But that's something not in my hand. It's public at large, or probably the market which needs to act upon it or react upon it.
So Dhaval, your company is amongst the I think the only one where so many family members work together. 16, if I gather right. How do 16 family members operate one single entity?
Well, it's the as we as Ajmera in the family, we have a very defined role. Every one of us has a very defined role, and one good thing is no one comes or interferes within each other's boundary. So like for the if I have to say, the MD and the CMD of the company will be the only decision makers, or the primary final decision makers of any business which we need to do. And like us as second generation, everyone has a vertical division. So one may be probably looking at sales. So like for me, I look after sales, I look after licensing, business development of the company, or the PR of the company. Someone will look after purchase, someone will look after finance. And the third generation is primarily divided into because they need to be trained, they need to be knowing the business properly, and obviously in the right way. They have a responsibility of a site, or a 2 or 3, depends upon each and every other person. So this way, everyone's role and responsibilities are defined.
One thing I noticed about your project and the evolution of Ajmera, it's become a more suave, savvy business. Right from the way you communicate to the way you do your buildings. Just when I see your first buildings at Vadala, the trajectory is like this, slow, and the last 4 have gone up like that. So who's the one driving these style changes within the company?
So it's I would say our company motto, our company ethos has always been keep evolving. And that has been, right from the time, probably from the first generation to even going now. So whenever, like I'll just give you an example. Then when I got into business, or when my elder brother who got into business, he was earlier staying in Dubai, and he came in over here. Obviously, he's seen the swanky buildings around, and he was there. And then he brought in, we should do this, we should do that, and wherever. As a company, it was never a thing that, okay, fine, your ideas are great, but we don't want to do it. Everyone in the family, if it is for the betterment of the project, or if it brings in better lifestyle to the entire complex, then why not? So we've always adopted technology and new ideas in a positive way, and not getting stuck to some old ideas, or probably the age-old phenomena coming our way. So
now let's just stick to the current and a bit of the future. Real estate has evolved a lot in the last, I think at least from 2012. What do you think has been the one big regulatory change that has altered the dynamics for Mumbai?
I think I would say 2-3 things, not just one. When the fungible FSI factor came in, it was brought in with the right intent, but it also made in some buildings actually like making like matchboxes, what we see today. But the intent was right, that पहले बहुत सारी चोरियां होती थी, या illegal things were being constructed or shown as not in FSI and counted in FSI and all that stuff. But the intent was to control that. But intent also, that had a con, was that you only see one type of building coming, and not designer buildings, which I personally believe Mumbai should be seeing. That those kind of buildings is not being seen. Second is also to a lot, I would say, RERA, because a perception of developer not being transparent, and someone who has to declare a lot of things. Not many developers were of the mindset to why should I be saying all of this? I will do when I have to do. Although it's not that they don't intend to, but it was the mindset. But then it was that mindset then became a forceful regulation, which actually changed a lot of even a customer or even a developer's mindset, that day one I need to be showing A, B, C, D, E. And when it was difficult probably for first 2-3 years for many, but then now it's okay, now this is a necessity, I can't do. So that they brought in a lot more transparency.
Since you mentioned about all buildings looking the same, Hafiz Contractor recently said that that regulations have strangled any new innovative design. In such an environment, do you think most real estate has become almost a commodity?
So, I agree to what Hafiz says, that you can't look everything as one eye. Maybe some buildings, everything cannot be there. Has to be some, precious notes coming out to make. When you go to New York, or when you go to Milan, or when you go to any of this, like London, why do you see Shard right in London, or why do you see the World Trade Center very different than probably any of another building? Because they give them the freedom to design, and there has to be the problem is, and the government, or they all look at as everyone can be wrong or right, but the intent of the developer, or forget the developer, anybody, the intent is to for a growth, or showing a building which can actually become as a landmark. If that intent is very transparently and clearly shown, I think that should be brought in up as a policy, or something which can encourage developers to actually make those kind of swanky buildings, which is not possible now, and Mumbai honestly needs them.
One former BMC commissioner once told me that the problem in giving little bit of liberty to developers is that out of the 10, 9 will abuse it.
Well, that's was right, or I wouldn't say right, but probably for a few, all have been put into the same boat. But that's not the case. Now with whatever, as we, with the kind of transparency, digitization, openness, very, very difficult to, probably do something like that. So,
What do you think is the future of real estate? Do we expect big technological changes in the way buildings are constructed? We've seen a lot of evolution in the last 100, years. Do you think it'll change further?
I 100% think it'll change, further, because if you see, every time technology has, really evolved, and going further also, it is just not, digital sales or marketing, but it will also be into administration, a lot of evolvement coming where your efficiencies will start getting better. It will also be into construction technology. I personally believe, or मेरा ये मानना है कि there is a saying of best from waste, and मेरा ये मानना है कि a lot of waste, like what we see आज हम लोगों को जो दिख रहा है plastic, there is technology today available कि why can't we make buildings, blocks or something जो दीवारें, can I make it from plastic waste, whatever we are throwing, can I recycle it, can I use it and make it as a building block? And there is technology, but obviously it requires a track record, it requires a proper proof method. But my belief is that using waste will be the most important thing which I see coming in the near future. Second is also
आपको लगता है कि बिल्डिंग्स बनाने की स्पीड में काफी चेंज आएगा?
मेरा 100% मानना है. आज के दिन में अगर आप एग्जांपल देखो, अभी भी आपको यहाँ पे दिखता है कि there was a recent building done in Navi Mumbai for Sitco, and it was done every 3 days there was a slab casted. And going future, we are seeing a better technology and even more faster technology coming. And मेरा ये मानना है in Mumbai per se, and at least Mumbai, if I have to talk, my belief is you will see a lot of 100-story buildings coming, and that will be possible with technology. That otherwise it will be a time consuming. Today, I as a developer would not want to make a 100-story building because A, it is time consuming, B, it is costly. But in future, these two will be answered, and there will be more 100-story building plus coming in, because there is an answer for time, there is an answer for technology, and it will come in. So, we are seeing a lot of, like, just to give you one of the examples is pod homes, or, what you see there, I have personally seen, and I think it will evolve further, that companies where your entire house is completely made at a factory, along with the complete interiors, and it is just brought and put in on the site, right? So there is no need of plaster, there is no need of finishing. Everything is done at factory, and you're just stacking it one above the other. So imagine your entire house is being done somewhere at back end, and while you finish all your approvals and your planning, and then you just come and start stacking it, and your entire building is ready in no time, like 3-4 months.
Abhishek Lodha said, I think 3 years back or 4 years back, about his Lodha World Towers, that if he had done the precise calculations for getting such a tall structure built before construction, he would have never started. So you are saying 5 years from now, possibly, we'll see buildings 100 floors easily in Mumbai.
Easily. Because I'm sure by then there will be answers to technology and cost both. And that will make it effective, like cost effective and time effective. And so it's the supply and time management and the time frame. So if your time is less, so that means your cost your overheads are less, your interest cost is restricted, your administrative cost is restricted, all that is restricted, and you have a better technology to finish that same building at the same cost. Why not? Everyone would want to do it.
Now, the last couple of questions on this. Right now, Mumbai is almost under redevelopment. We had a FSI discount. I gather that I think at least we've seen more development proposals in this 1 year than we've seen in the last 10 years. What does that mean for the market? What should developers prepare for? What should home buyers prepare for?
So, for home buyers, I think one is that with the kind of proposals which have actually been approved, thanks to that 50% discount, and you can expect faster buildings coming in because the developer is completely invested and got the approvals in hand. So he or she will have no choice but to ensure that he finishes the building. So that means you will have time-bound delivery of the project, which today obviously they are, but now with entire money invested, it is even at the end, developer will endeavor to ensure it finishes faster. For the developer is that at least he is secured with the kind of approvals he has, so there cannot be any
Googly cannot come.
Kuch cannot come, and he knows that I will be constructing an X-story building and I need to now finish in. So both sides there will be transparency and clarity, and it is just now the timeline for it to construct and manage and take it forward.
How does competition impact the sector? Should we expect, of course, I think it's already begun, a lot of launches, a lot of competition. How should a developer prepare for it?
So, the developer should know its strength in that particular micro market, and if he is able to deliver something which is not being otherwise delivered, which is very, very difficult because everything is a brick and mortar primarily per se, but if he can really give a better edge to his project as compared to other, then he will stand a chance to get more sales in his project. At the same time, his brand establishment and his delivery track record will help him go faster.
So, Dhaval, what would you recommend home buyers? Now they will be looking at many options. If you were to advise them, what would be the 3 key factors you will recommend them to watch out for, barring the usual things of track record, builder, etc.?
So, my personal advice, and if I personally see any home buyer should look is, आप घर के अंदर देखो, घर के बाहर थोड़ा कम देखो. While I'm not saying what I mean by this is give more importance to the internal planning or the internal layout of the apartment versus the amenities of the building or the layout. Look, Vishal, today's day and world, every developer will not compromise on the amenities which are outside. Some may be more, some may be less, but there is a certain unsaid given whatever that certain level of amenities will be there, and which is okay. But मेरा ये personally मानना है कि when you look inside, give a lot of importance, and you should give a lot of importance. My feeling is to the efficiency of planning or the sizes of the rooms or the sizes of the living room, because that's where you are going to spend a lot of time. Today, you are spending 90% or 80% of your time inside of whatever you are staying within your own house, and 20% probably to the amenities. But when you lure more towards amenities, you are somewhere sacrificing internally, and which I don't think should be.
What do you think is the ideal, or rather the minimum size of a 1-bedroom and a 2-bedroom apartment that a home buyer should keep in mind? कि इसके नीचे अगर हो गया तो बस फाइट है.
Well, वो तो बहुत difficult है because everyone has a different budget, and location and the budget plays a very important role. But I personally believe that ideal 1-bedroom size, can be around 400-ish or 450 in a very good way. But I think between 375 to 450 is a ideal 1-bedroom size. You can fit a fantastic 1-bedroom with a good planning in 375 and 360 also, but I think that's where the ideal 2-bedroom, I think between 650 to 750 or 800 tops. That's where in an ideal. Obviously, you can go larger because Bangalore has larger 2-bedrooms, and then
since you mentioned Bangalore, you have experience in Bangalore, in Pune, Gujarat, Mumbai. What's the one big difference between the customer of all these 4 markets?
So Mumbai will definitely see budget as the prime most thing when he's buying the apartment, because that's where he comes in. So Bangalore is primarily looking, obviously budget is one, but They also have a very clear thing about balconies, about the size of the apartments. We have in one of our projects in Bangalore, we have seen the velocity of sales in, when we tried to lower the size of the apartment versus, and the same project when I had a largest or the required size, my velocity of sales was higher, although my ticket size was lower over here, which attracted them to come for a lower ticket size, but they still preferred to take the higher ticket size or the higher apartment because that's the mindset they come with.
So वहाँ पे lower ticket size में inquiries थी, conversion कम था.
हाँ.
और यहाँ पे inquiries और conversion दोनों strong.
Correct. So you see better conversion rate as compared to what you see in there. Pune, obviously Pune also comes with a little bit of mindset of Bangalore, where they do not see cramped apartments. They want a decent size apartments where they would want to see, and obviously also Pune is, because Pune is what it is with the weather, they prefer to have projects with balconies and all of that. And Gujarat, Gujarat, I would say, where Ahmedabad projects where we have developed, they have a lot of preference because personally Ahmedabad is a very city of architecture. They believe a lot into nice, obviously the layout and the look of the building both. So when they see very decent, straight, simple, probably they're etching towards buying those kind of apartments.
So basically Mumbai का customer ही सबसे flexible है. उसको size छोटा होगा, architecture नहीं होगा.
They will compromise.
They will compromise. The first word that comes to your mind when I say builder?
Obviously Ajmera, but having said aside, I would say Hiranandani, I would say Prestige, I would say Rustamji.
The best real estate project in India according to you?
According to me, I would say Hiranandani Gardens.
The one quality needed for a builder to succeed in India?
You should, on a lighter note, I don't think developers can ever get heart attack because there are enough and more problems which come our way. But I think anyone who is resilient and who has the knack to solve problems can be a builder.
The first word that comes to your mind when I say Godrej?
FMCG.
Oberoi?
Tall towers and brand.
Lodha?
Larger than life projects, but good quality.
Hiranandani?
Township and area development.
Rustamji?
Young.
The one underrated part of a project that a customer should keep in mind while making his purchase?
Efficiency of planning.
In case if Dhaval Ajmera had to stay in an apartment which is apart from his current one, where would it be?
I really like one of the apartment which is being made by Raheja in Worli, Raheja Anchorage. Has got a fantastic view. It's a very small, tiny building, but fantastic view.
Which competitor's project do you wish you had owned?
The nearest, the latest one I would really think is Rustamji Elements.
A personal preference, penthouse, mansion or apartment?
Penthouse.
The best way to tap the emerging millennial market?
Be more vibrant and young in the look and feel of the building and marketing of the building.
Online or offline brokers, the future belongs to whom?
I would say 30% online but 70% offline.
And my last question, how well do you handle stress while working on multiple projects?
For me, Stress Buster is running, and that's where I really enjoy the most. I think I'll keep on running and keep on taking more stress and doing more projects.
Okay. On that note, thank you, Dhaval, for coming on.
Thank you.
Speaking about your projects and the future.
Pleasure talking to you. Thank you, Vishal.